Was he just standing there menacingly? I've never heard of that
Yep.
before. What's
Pretty much.
Criminal record that also extended to when he was a juvenile in
It's just threatening someone? Oh.
2009. State Patrol also mentioned he had prior gang affiliations during that time, but there were no indications he continued to be part of that gang. Officials refused to name the prior gang he was a part of. The true motives behind Victor's actions may never be fully understood.
I mean, it just sounds like suicide by cop.
What's going on, guys? Today we have a scary one out of Colorado.
I really think that's all it probably was. It was probably just suicide by cop. That's probably what he was going for. He wanted to go out with a bang.
Now it's time to walk away. I hope you enjoyed your stay.
Cop's body cam rolls as he makes horrifying discovery.
I smell something. Man, see, it's strong right here. You smell it? Like, could we see it? How far off was it?
The smelly smell.
Oh, there it is.
That smells
Found it.
smelly.
Am I right? Yeah. Alright, we're 1097. It's confirmed. It appears to be a female. The top half is decomposed. The bottom half has pants on or shorts. They're pulled down around the legs.
When a beloved teenager from the Orlando area vanished from her home, the investigators tasked with finding her could have never imagined the twisted and shocking series of events that would eventually lead them to the most sickening of motives. On the
Like, dude, can we just like can serial killers all collectively get together and normalize like just killing people, man? Like, you don't have to torture them, you don't have to do weird shit. Like, just kill someone and move on with your day. You know, like, come on. Why do we gotta be extra? I need all the serial killers to collectively get together and agree on this, okay? Right? Come on.
April morning of Friday the 13th, 2018, just 3 weeks after her 16th birthday.
Okay, fine, thank you.
Justice Marie Garrett awoke much later than
Okay,
usual
fine.
in her school bus. Her mother, 37-year-old Danielle Pratt, who had her hands full with Justice's 5-year-old sister, asked her fiancé, 39-year-old Robert Bobby Kern, if he would drive Justice to school, and together they dropped the teen off at Mount Dora High, expecting her to get a ride home later on the bus. When Justice failed to return home that day, her mother assumed she was with one of her many friends and wasn't immediately concerned. However, by the next morning, when Danielle still hadn't heard from her daughter, she started to get a sickening feeling and hurriedly called the police to report Justice missing. Police initially questioned whether Justice had simply run away, if only for the weekend, as the teen had
I want to
recently been
purchase a
forced to
sub
change
for the drop you
schools
have
as a
enabled.
result of her family moving to Sorrento
But
just a
I'm
few
broke.
months prior.
Oh man.
This sort of transition can be difficult.
That's
for
okay.
anyone,
But also
especially
if you've
for a
subbed
grade eight
before,
high school
it won't work.
student midway through their sophomore year. So police assumed this to be typical teen
You have to be a
behavior,
brand new
and the girl
subscriber.
was likely spending the
I was about to say
weekend with
subber,
friends.
but I was like,
I hate that, bro.
Ick.
I always hate that dumb shit that cops do.
you know, okay.
Oh, they're just
I thought you'd
teenagers.
subscribed
They'll
before.
be back in a few days.
Like a few months ago.
Dead. Like, if you know your
It's only new
offspring,
purchase.
daughter, son, what have you.
Okay.
If you know them very well.
But
and then you would never, ever,
No.
in a million years
That's-
expect them to run away, and they do, out of the blue, for
Nope,
no
what?
reason. And then the cop hits you with, they're teenagers. They're teenagers, you
Visit
know, like,
Raven734's KO5 page
probably
at
back soon enough.
https://ko-fi.com/Raven734
Oh, I know you're not now, but I think
Twitch.
I could have sworn you
I'm
subbed
not
like a few
subbed.
months ago.
the overpasses and throwing
Like when you
peanuts
first
off
started
and trying to hit cars with
getting
it.
introduced to my channel.
Yeah, when
I could be
was a
wrong, though.
kid, you know, when I was a kid, I was a weirdo. You know what I mean?
Her friends,
Ooh,
however,
I almost ate that
insisted
bug.
Justice was responsible. and
Ah, got him!
Mature for her age.
No, I didn't.
Her mother
That's something
stated
else.
that she had no reason to
There's a
run
piece of
away.
makeup on my hand.
Don't remember
Police
that.
spoke to about
Okay,
Justice,
alright, I'm probably
the
wrong.
clearer it became that something had to be seriously wrong, as everyone had owned.
They also act like kids run away for no reason. Like if someone is running away, something is wrong at home. Yeah, exactly. Like there's so many things to it. Because cops don't do shit. They just don't want to exert the effort. You know? They don't want to waste their time, which, let's be real, a lot of cops have plenty of time. Alright? Like I've seen you guys, I've seen how bored you are. You pull over one person, for going 5 miles over the speed limit, 10 cops show up. Why? You're bored. You don't got anything to do.
Only good things to say about the 16-year-old. Other friends assured the investigators that she wasn't depressed. She didn't take illicit substances, and she wouldn't just run away, even though her mom moved her around frequently. This last part was certainly true. Over the past few years, the family had moved multiple times for unknown reasons. But in each school Justice attended, she left with a new group of devoted friends, most of whom she seemed to keep in touch with after leaving. The police definitely had their work cut out
Lurkers,
for them during
you're
the
amazing
initial
and thank you
interviewing
for having me
process,
on in the
talking to
background.
literally
It
dozens
means
of
so much
teens
to
about
me.
the missing girl. Soon, bizarre rumors had started circulating on social media. Among them, Justice had been spotted sleeping in cemeteries, or she was being hidden at the house of a friend after running away. These rumors all turned out to be falsehoods, told with the goal of selfishly gaining.
That sounds like a teenager. She was in the cemetery. Like, what is that shit? What is that dumb shit? I once got drunk and ended up with rando somewhere far out from where I live for like a whole weekend. When I called my mom, she said, you got there, so figure yourself out, and hung up. Wow, I fucking hate parents. Oh my god, like oh my
Sorry,
god.
hang on.
Like parents who like hate alcohol and like your child drinking it, right? So much that you hate alcohol more than you love your child. I hate parents like that who hate substances more than they love their own child. If your child is out drinking at a party and they call you like, hey mom, I'm like plaster drunk, I'm sorry, can you just come pick me up because I don't want to drunk drive? And then they hit you with, well, you got yourself into this mess, you're gonna get yourself out of it. Like, what is that? Your child could fucking die, and you care way more about the fact that they're drinking rather than their safety. Like, I've dealt with shit like that too, and it pisses me the fuck off, man.
Gaining attention, and those most loyal to Justice.
There's so many parents like that, bro.
Suspected of spreading
so many
misinformation, leading to at least one girl being suspended from school at that time. Police eventually narrowed down the massive pool to a handful of Justice's closest school friends to talk to them about the missing teen's behavior at school on Friday, or if they had been with her at any point that weekend. What they learned from these friends completely derailed their prior assumptions and caused the investigation to be drastically rerouted. Not only had Justice not been with them that weekend or Friday afternoon, but none of them had seen Justice at school
What
that
to draw?
day. A Snapchat posted at 6:48 a.m. to Justice's account shows that the teen had been dressed and ready for school just before leaving the house that day. But no one at Mount Dora High could recall seeing Justice.
Wow, I got wasted on weed. Wow, consider yourself disowned. Yeah, I had a similar experience like that. Like, it is so funny now how like weed is so. It's not completely normalized. It's still not completely normalized, but how it's such like a common thing now. And everyone realized that the whole time, like, there was zero reason for everyone freaking out about weed, you know what I mean? But, like, back then, it's like, your parents would literally disown you and kick you out of the house for having weed. Like, it's so insane, bro.
This on April 13th. How odd, thought the investigators, that Justice seemingly vanished between being dropped off at school at 7:25 a.m. and actually making it into the building for first period. Before investigators could dive deeper into this unusual development, a heartbreaking and tragic new piece of evidence would come to light. The following footage has never been seen before.
Yep. So I think we passed like Witmasset Road when we came in. So if we kept walking west, run into the road, it's hard to know which way these trails are with out above.
What I did was I walked straight out that way. I knew the zone that was back with that marking there, so we're right in the area.
You're not going to be able to follow us all the way back here. We've taken a number of different trails. Right now we're headed in an easterly direction. We're trying to find the trail that he saw it on. If it's possible, we may have, if we could get Air 1 to come up, maybe assist. It's getting real dark back here now.
I don't know.
There should be a whole bunch of vultures near it. See any footprints?
I think if it was anywhere back up this. I see my dog was running.
see if they got our footprints.
Yeah, just
Growing my own weed. Is that what's the, I don't know what the law is on that. I think it's like you're allowed to have like one plant a household or something like that, depending on the state, obviously. But
boots right there, right?
Yep.
that'd probably be way cheaper than buying it because oh my god, bro, the prices, bro, the prices,
Those are our blueprints,
kind of
yeah.
crazy.
I smell something. Man, see, it's strong right here.
You need a permit?
Smell it?
I think I'm gonna embroider for a little bit while I think of an idea, just so I'm not standing here doing nothing.
I'm
I'm
not
sitting
gonna
here
look at
doing
myself.
nothing.
I would never.
So let me pull that up.
Like, could we see it? How far off was it? Oh, there it is.
I also need to run to the restroom real quick, so I'll be right back.
Am I right?
Yeah. Alright, we're 1097. It's confirmed. It appears to be a female. The top half is decomposed. The bottom half has pants on or shorts. They're pulled down around the legs. It's about 10 feet off the trail, so.
Tragically, just 4 days after she was reported missing, Justice's body was discovered in a wooded area off Gasline Road in DeLand.
Decomposed after 4 days?
A town roughly
I guess like animals.
30
and
minutes
stuff,
from
but-
Sorrento. A longtime member of the Daytona Hash House Harriers, a runners club based out of Daytona, Florida, had been out for a game of hares and hounds that morning when he stumbled across the
Oh man.
grisly sight. When this particular runner took off into the woods to track the hare on the morning of April 18th, he had no earthly idea that what he would actually find that day was one of the most gruesome and heartbreaking crime scenes in DeLand's history.
Jesus Christ. You look very grunkly today, pig. What the fuck did you just say to me? What is that? What? That better be a compliment. I look grunkly?
Justice's body was heavily decomposed, and there was ample evidence of animal activity, but it was clear from the state of her remains that she had been the victim of a brutal crime. The body was found about 10 feet off the jogging path
Wait, what did that say? Tissue and flesh had been removed from the skull, ribcage, and sternum of the victim. Ew.
of a brutal crime. The body
gotta
was
be
found
animals,
about
though,
10
right?
feet off the jogging path, with the top half being
Well, and
mostly
exposure.
skeletal, and the bottom half in
Body
remaining
usually
clothing,
only starts to
such as pants that
decompose
pulled down
until
around
the
the
third
ankles,
day,
as
so
the
yeah.
officer mentioned, were later found to have been covered in bleach.
Sorry, I watch way too much true crime.
Police began to redouble their efforts and questioned everyone again in a newfound state of urgency, determined to find the person who had brutally killed Justice. They started with the jogger who had found the body. He told police he'd seen a man in a hoodie near the path on the day he found the remains, but when the man heard the approaching police sirens, he took off into the woods. Curious to see if this man was seen near the school, detectives requested footage of the drop-off zone at Mount Dora High on the morning of the 13th, and upon receiving it, were quite surprised by what they saw, or more accurately, what they didn't see. Not only was no one suspicious seen at the school that morning, but neither was the dark blue Ford Explorer containing Danielle, Robert, and Justice that should have been in the student drop-off zone at
I need to go refill my
7:25
drink real quick, and I'll be right back.
Danielle and Robert both told investigators this was the time and vehicle in which
Hold up.
they had dropped Justice off. So why was there no record of it
Hold up. No.
anywhere on school grounds?
No.
Faced with the death of her daughter and increased pressure from police,
No.
it was at this point on April 29th that Danielle finally cracked and admitted the truth to investigators.
No.
Danielle and her fiancé Robert hadn't taken Justice to school the morning she disappeared.
No.
Instead, Robert had dropped her off somewhere in Sorrento so she could meet a friend. Detectives demanded to know the name and location of the friend, and Robert had to admit that he didn't exactly know.
You lying sack of shit.
Oh, stating that he only
Why?
knew that it might have been a boy and that Justice had been asked to be dropped off and picked up later. Since Robert had a handyman job waiting for him up in Volusia County that day, he didn't press her for details, but instead complied with the teen's request. Wanting to be liked by your prospective spouse's children is a somewhat reasonable excuse for
I think fiance killed her. Mom didn't want to lose fiance, so she didn't say anything.
Robert to behave this way. But why would Danielle lie about being in the car that morning? Well,
Okay, I'm back. So sorry about that.
direct messages that had been sent to the teen's Instagram during the weeks leading up to her death read as follows.
Excuse me,
You're a
so
cutie.
sorry.
How old are you? You got a BF. Talk to me, beautiful. You don't like guys. I love your cover photo. God, you're sexy as
Oh!
All the messages came from the same profile. One supposedly belonging to an 18-year-old muscle-bound young man living in the area. Though no one matching the photos had ever attended any of Justice's schools or was recognized by anyone who knew her. Even though Justice herself never responded to any of these messages, detectives felt confident that the owner of this Instagram account was the key to solving this case. And, as it turns out, they were right.
Muscle bound? Chat, he's wearing a sleeveless shirt. That's why he's muscle bound. Chat, if I was wearing a sleeveless shirt, he'd probably say the same thing. You know, hell, he might even say bodybuilder, right? If I was sleeveless, right? But, you know, it's just because he's wearing no sleeves. That's how it works.
However, not in the way anyone could have possibly imagined. Upon obtaining the information to trace the account back to
Don't be delusional. I'm not being delusional. I'm realistic, all right?
the phone it was linked to, investigators finally learned the shocking truth. The phone didn't belong to an 18-year-old besotted schoolboy at all.
Yeah, 40-year-old creepy man.
It belonged to a middle-aged man by the name of Robert Bobby Kern.
Yep.
That's right, it was the loving stepfather.
Oh, wait. Oh, shit. It was. Oh, it was. I was right. I was right. Oh, my God, dude. I knew it. It was too suspicious. It was way too suspicious that he didn't know the dude. All right, yep.
Police wasted no time tracking him down and confronting him with this new development. It was here the loving, almost stepfather facade broke down entirely, and Robert was no longer willing to cooperate with investigators. This, coupled with the earlier lies about driving Justice to school, were big red flags, some which prompted detectives to place Robert Kern under arrest and re-examine everything they knew about him. First, investigators wanted to know if Justice knew it had been Robert who had been sending her the messages, or if he had ever behaved inappropriately towards her. It's
No, I think he was
unknown,
setting
but
it
it's hard
up
to
to make
imagine
it seem
he
like
had
some
been
other
here,
guy was
since despite
the
Danielle
murderer.
I don't know. I feel like she would have an idea.
referring to Robert as her fiance, they'd only been dating since the late fall of the previous year, and Robert only stayed at the house periodically. It's entirely
That's weird.
possible Robert did
That's
make her
weird.
uneasy. However, despite him telling investigators how they were already practically family, one of her closest friends, Rochelle, was quick to point out that he was definitely not her stepfather.
Yeah, what, barely even a year together and you're gonna start acting like you're her stepfather? No.
Yeah, it was Friday night, and her dad came to her mom's boyfriend came to my house and was like, "Oh, have you guys seen Justice and stuff like that?" I said,
That was on Friday.
"Yeah,
He came
Friday night. He came to my house.
Is that the stepdad or real dad?
It's a stepdad. It's like her mom's boyfriend. He's not really like a stepdad. She just like got with him, I guess, or something like recently."
This had been the first time Rochelle had ever seen Robert, since Justice had always stayed over at Rochelle's house. She stayed over so frequently, in fact, that investigators had to question if Justice was uncomfortable in her own home.
I'd say so.
She'll always be at my house, and then like when she moved, like I'll talk to her like a couple times a week, probably, like only text her, and then I started like calling her more like after her birthday, and then we started like calling each other, and then she started like staying over my house, like on the weekends.
How many times do you think she's been to your house?
A lot, all the time, like too much for me to count, because it used to be like literally like a whole month just she stood at my house. My mom
Does she not like being home or something?
I don't know. That's what my mom was saying. Like the other day, me and my mom and my sister were talking, and my mom was like, "Well, like she used to stay over here, and you guys never go sleep over her house. So it kind of seems like she don't like she don't like being at her house and stuff like that. I don't know. It's because like I don't know why.
Yeah,
she
the
never
mom,
really told me nothing.
I definitely feel like the mom knew. He probably just groomed the mom, you know, made her feel like he was a great guy, basically brainwashed her in order to get to her. I mean, I feel like that's what a lot of serial killers and psychopaths do.
That. I don't know when her dad.
The mom definitely had an idea.
Her dad, when her mom's boyfriend came to my door, Friday like that night when he asked me, he kind of scared me. Like he looked a little bit creepy, and my mom was like, "Oh, like what if she don't like being at home because of him? Like what if he, like we never know, he could be doing anything. Like he looks creepy, he looks weird." But
other than looking creepy, why did he give you that vibe? Did he say something? Did he act a certain way?
He didn't act a certain way. He just looked like weird. Like he just looked
weird. Like what would he do? What do you think?
His
aura. He just looks.
Would you want to leave the house with that guy?
No, I wouldn't even want him in my house, to be fully honest with you.
Rochelle may have not been able to articulate exactly what it was about Robert that made her suspicious, but investigators were definitely starting to get a clearer idea. Convinced they were on the right track, they dug deeper into his background, scouring his past and the rest of his phone records, and what they found was sickening. The following may be too disturbing for some viewers.
Uh-oh.
It turns out that Robert did have a criminal record, including 2 counts of burglary from the early 2000s. But it was his internet search history that proved the most damning.
Oh no.
Police found searches such as knockout drugs, GHB, and chloroform, along with several searches for father-daughter.
Oh God.
Blech.
Between father and daughter, and brunette in the woods.
What the fuck?
In the weeks leading up to Justice's disappearance. In addition, the location of Robert's phone matched Justice's for the entire morning, showing that instead of driving the team to school, Robert had driven them both straight to the woods and to land, where the phone stayed stationary for over an hour in the location where Justice's remains were later found. It was during this stationary period, a time Robert originally claimed he'd been working a handyman job in Volusia County, that investigators believe he dragged the teen from the car into the woods, then proceeded to brutally assault and murder her. The medical examiner later testified that the cause of death was most likely strangulation, though this couldn't be definitively proven since a key neck bone was missing from the body at the time of discovery.
The hyoid?
In addition to her pants being pulled down around her ankles and drenched in
Yeah, the
bleach,
hyoid bone must have been missing.
Sweatshirt and bra were found pushed up around her neck, and her nose had been violently broken shortly before her death. A state of Justice's clothing and Robert's search history leave little question as to motive, though we will probably never know for certain, as Robert never
Death penalty immediately? No, he needs to suffer. He needs to die. He needs to gradually die in a horrible way.
Testified. The defense didn't call us
cover him in oil, burn him.
Single witness to the stand, but that may have been due to the overwhelming amount of evidence stacked against him. In addition to the plethora of lies Robert had told investigators and the information gathered from his phone, bits of plant matter from the exact area Justice's remains were found were
like how does the mom feel in this situation?
Located in his car after he stated he had never been to the area.
How does the mom feel?
Danielle later testified at trial, saying Robert had convinced her not to call the police when Justice first appeared to have gone missing. In one final twist, investigators discovered that on April 16th, Robert's phone pinged at the location of the murder for a short period of time, It's believed that this was when he dumped bleach over Justice's remains in an effort to further cover his tracks. As stated by the prosecutors in the case against Robert, Justice Marie Garrett was entirely a victim of circumstances. Those who loved her will remember her for the beautiful and kind soul she was, and the lives she brightened along the way. It took the jury only 30 minutes to find Robert Kern Jr. guilty.
Wow, that's fast.
He was subsequently sentenced to life.
That's really fast.
With an additional 5 years for tampering with evidence.
That was awful. That was absolutely terrible. I hated that.
Now it's time to walk away. I hope you enjoyed your stay.
That made me dizzy. Pulled my earbud out and threw my equilibrium off. Woo! Oh, here we go.
There's just nothing I like seeing more than...
This is Bose versus the world.
But then immediately get karma for it. I love it. I need it. I like it. We've got a few different versions of that today, but let's just start light. This one says, Mickey shames dad for not watching his kid. Mickey's like, my job's on the line, and he's recording!
Aw, good Mickey. Good Mickey.
Sorry, it's so satisfying. I just have to watch the last part again. The sign language this dude is communicating while he's in the Mickey costume is hilarious. Don't watch your kid get knocked over and start recording. You watch this kid. Mickey ain't losing his job today. Watch it again. Watch it again. Oh my god. It's too cute. It's too cute. Imagine getting embarrassed by Mickey Mouse. Oh, you're not living that down. And you know what? Guess who's also not living this down? This lady.
Vandalism for what? For what?
Vandalism for what? Editor, come back to the other clip.
I'm pregnant. I can't do that. For what? He hits her. What do you mean?
Okay,
you don't know nothing. Why are you here? He put his fucking hands on me. Did you press charges, man? No. Exactly. You gotta record this shit, bro. Step out with us, please. No, she's not going nowhere. She needs to come out with us right now. Not going nowhere.
I love how they really tried. She can't go. She's pregnant. Oh, Officer Michael, did you know she was pregnant? No, I didn't know that, Officer Carmichael. Okay, well, what should we do? Well, we can't take her in now. She says she's pregnant. Sorry about the inconvenience, ma'am. We'll just be on our way.
I'm gonna close the door because she's not going nowhere.
Step out the house.
No,
You have 5 seconds, man. Step out.
In 5
Make
seconds?
this easy for you. So either you step out the house or we go in there.
You're not coming in. What? Okay, I could go. I could go by myself.
Okay. She tried to run! Girl. That's what I'm here for. That is what I'm here for. When it comes to dinner, I'm convinced that everybody wants 2 things. Something tasty, and to not have to clean it up. I mean, sure, maybe you don't hate cleaning, and maybe you don't care what you eat, but I do, okay? And if you're like me, then try Factor. Factor gets delivered to your doorstep, and if you're ready to eat, you can take one right out of the box and throw it in the microwave, and boom, guess who's not hungry anymore? You. And guess who doesn't have to clean it up? You. Isn't that the best part? Now, listen, they have so many different types of meals. They have, keto meals, they have Calorie Smart, or just the regular chef's choice where they send you all the tasty ones and just cycle through all the different recipes. But if you've been a Factor user for a while and you want to switch it up, guys, they've got the Gourmet Plus options. Now look, I like my chicken and my cauliflower mashed potatoes from Factor. I know if y'all have had Factor before, you were surprised how good the cauliflower mashed potatoes were, weren't you? You looked at that and you said, oh, okay. And the Gourmet Plus meals, they have steak and broccoli. And look, it's not like a steak where you reheat it and it's dry. Like, they know what they're doing. It's good. Also, surf and serve, like salmon and shrimp. And surf and turf. Listen, you can't go wrong with it, okay? So if you guys want to try Factor today, I've got a little discount for you. You can use the link in the description to get 50% off of your first factor box plus 20% off of your next month. That's a great deal. 50% off of your first factor box and then 20% off of your next month if you resubscribe. Just use the code BOZE50. See ya. This one is called Angry Dad Snaps on Streamer for catcalling his underage daughter. I love an angry dad.
Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Where you going? Come here. Come here, little Bondi. Little Taylor Swift looking ass bitch. 15, dude. Hey, bro, then why's she out this late, bro? What? Why's she out this late? This is Hollywood, bro. Why's she out this late? Because we just went on a father-daughter date at dinner. That's great. I apologize, bro. I'm not trying to disrespect you in any way possible. I totally apologize. I totally apologize. I would just shut the fuck up. No problem.
He's lucky he didn't get punched.
Don't tell me about coming at me. You just entered my world, all right?
Yeah. Yeah. I love how he says, yo, this is my hood. Be nice. It's my hood. Be nice. It's my hood. That's hilarious.
She's 15. What's he hanging out with a 15-year-old girl?
It's his daughter! What an idiot. Holy that's so embarrassing. Afterwards, like, he can't even admit he's wrong, so he's like, what is he doing out with a 15-year-old?